Welcome to the Shuffle Curious podcast. I'm your host, Patty Lynch. Have you ever seen an amazing shuffler at a show or festival and wondered, how did they get started? How did they develop their skills? And who are they beyond the dance floor? Well, that's exactly what we're exploring in the show. We'll dive into the personal experiences of the dancers that make up our beloved community. We'll be learning more about who they are and what makes this dance so special to them. So, with that, let's jump into the show and let's get curious together. Hello to the Shuffle Curious community out there. This is going to be a mini episode of the Shuffle Curious podcast. And in this one, I was able to speak with the owners of the Flow Complex, Josh and Sandra. And the Flow Complex is situated in Torrance, California. It started in 2009 after Josh had attended EDC and was inspired to open up this studio. It is also known as the FTS studio, and this is very much where FTS gets together to lab and whatnot. But also, it's been a central hub for shufflers really everywhere and from all walks of life. It's been a pivotal part of the shuffle scene, the culture, and the community. And I think Josh and Sandra have done a great job inviting new shufflers into the scene by means of the Flow Complex. If they see someone that they just don't know at a show or festival, they will always send an invitation to come and hang out at the Flow Complex. And so it's been a very communal place for dancers, like I had mentioned, and shufflers to be able to get together. But it's also been a staple in the local community for musicians, women's circles to gather, different artists, and for locals to use for their functions as well. So, although it seems to be a primary place for shufflers to hang out, it also is serving the community in a myriad of ways, which is also really creating good public relations for the shuffle scene at large. So it's amazing what Josh and Sandra have been doing with the Flow Complex, and I'm very excited to show and share this interview with you guys. So without further ado, these are the owners of the Flow Complex, also known as the FTS Studio. Hope you guys enjoy. So we're here at the Flow Complex, also known as the FTS Studio, with the owners. And, this is ShuffleCon weekend, and this is where all of the shufflers have conjured after the event. And it's a very special time that we're having here. Pretty much everyone from the event is now attending. So like I had mentioned, I have the owners here. So if you could just tell me your names, where are you from, and then also who are you representing, this weekend throughout the competition, and then just, your entity here.
Hi, how are you guys doing? My name is Josh, and this is...
Hi, my name is Sandra.
Awesome.
And I am part of FTS, and I run the Flow Complex studio here. We've been doing it since 2009, throwing Sunday sessions since 2010. And yeah, it's a great meeting place, like for shufflers all over Cali and all over the world, essentially, to come through and, get down, practice, or like even when we hit up events like Dream State or ShuffleCon, we'll come back here and, do our thing. So
awesome, man. Yeah, and you guys had a booth at ShuffleCon just to showcase, what you guys do here, to promote it. What inspired y'all to start the Flow Complex, and what were kind of like the origins of that, the lead up to it, and then kind of the vision that started all of this?
I want to say, well, originally we opened the dance studio for my brother. He's a professional dancer. So, and then right around the same time, I went to my first rave, which is EDC 2009. And then I was introduced to shuffling, and it kind of just went hand in hand, to be able to bring people together for this dance, for the music, and yeah.
Got it. Do you have anything to add?
Well, the first time that I came, it was in 2014. And just like everyone else, the space was very welcoming. And then, we started more like connecting, and then eventually I became co-owner with him. So the purpose for the space too is to basically have people just come around, and you don't even have to shuffle. You could just come. Before, we would have like art exhibits here. People would throw like their album releases here. So it's like a variety of things happening within the dance studio. But the main purpose also is for everyone to just feel welcomed, feel safe, be yourself. It's a community. So yeah, I'm very happy with how everything has turned out throughout all these years. I'm so happy with all the people that have come and supported us throughout all these years also.
Awesome. No, it's very cool what you guys do for the community. Like, this is like a central hub for FTS, but then also for all these national shufflers, you know what I mean? For me personally, this is the first time being here, and it's very much like a bucket list item for me as a shuffler, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people aspire to dance in here. It's becoming that kind of icon for the shuffle community. So it's very awesome to see what you guys do and the platform that you give for other shufflers. And I'm sure, you know, it hasn't all been easy, you know, like, what kind of challenges have you guys faced by either keeping the doors open or just by getting the space to begin with and just maintaining it?
I think the biggest challenge is just being consistent. Sometimes it's, you know, like, everyone has their everyday lives going and work, but we try to keep the doors open and, you know, have people welcome whenever they're able to make it. So other challenges would be, what do you think?
I mean,
Renting the studio.
Well, renting the studio, but people pretty much respect our space as well. We have set rules also. Some of the rules include, you know, be respectful towards others, their space. You know, if there's anything going on, then yeah, like, talk it out. But pretty much it's like the consistency, just because he's like, you know, it's like he said, like, we're all adults now. A lot of people do full-time jobs. So before, it was more consistent. Like, people were younger, so they would come through and like dance. But yeah, pretty much.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it has to be, you know, tough with the evolution of shuffling, like, over time. Like, people come and go, and it's like, you know, it is hard to be consistent, especially because people's lives change, like, over time. So, you know, with that, you know, how do you feel like this place where all these shufflers can gather has really affected the shuffle community? The ones that have, you know, our predecessors, the ones who might have been in the scene and then left, the ones who have been here all along, and then some of the new shufflers as well. How do you think this is benefiting the culture and the community?
I think, like, with the collaborative effort with FTS and the social media pages, for example, the Facebook Shufflers Worldwide page that we host, and Instagram, I feel like just being able to all right, what's the question more?
I'm asking, how do you think that the flow complex has benefited, like, the shufflers prior to, you know, like, the new generation, and then for the new generation of shufflers, how do you think it is continuing to benefit the community and the culture?
I feel like this space, like, has been integral in keeping the scene alive. Essentially, there were spikes, like, with social media, where people will get active and they like to come around, and sometimes, like, you know, it'll die out, but, like, this place has always been running. So, like, if you don't see people active online, like, you can know that we're still doing it here, and then just that full circle moment to be able to inspire other people like around the country, around the world. Like you get to learn, and you're learning new things. Like they're learning off of you, and it's just like a constant cycle of like improvement and just like taking it to that next level and exploring different concepts. And
that's something that I wanted to add on also. I feel like the way that the studio Flow Complex benefits or has benefited the community is what he said too, where when we have new shufflers coming in, like let's say like we're at an event and then we see them shuffling, and we don't, because we pretty much know everyone within the community because they come here, and every time we see someone that's new, we always invite them, and then when they come, they're always just so mind blown, just because it's like because it's a community, it's like a private space almost where they could vibe with other people doing the same thing. And one of my favorite things too is when people start coming more often, you see them evolve, like their style evolve. Not only their style, but just who they are too. You see that they're like more confident, and they're like, hey, like, guess what I learned today? Or like if they see people doing like a certain glide or a certain move, people are more than willing or happy to share. Like, yeah, I could teach you this. This is how you do it. So then it's kind of like when you show someone, like when you show or you pass down the knowledge to that person, and then they're dancing and you see them, that's like a part of you. That's like a part of you getting passed down each time. And that's from the earlier shufflers, the OGs, to the new shufflers coming in now. So one thing that I've also liked too, because shuffling is constantly evolving, people that shape have also, I've seen them incorporate like OG style moves. So like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that that makes me happy. It makes me feel like the community has bonded in that sense too. And it's almost like, like you're watching someone grow. So I've seen people like 3 months shuffling, and then within a year, they're already like advanced moves, or they've improved so much, they've evolved. So yeah.
It's a melting pot of sorts, you know what I mean? It's a place where people can come and show the diversity in their styles, learn from one another, and it's a platform for that, you know what I mean? If it didn't exist, perhaps it just wouldn't be serving the community in this capacity, you know what I mean?
And it also provides connection too with like others.
Camaraderie and just like being more, I guess, like in tune with the community and feeling more connected with it, you know? It's honestly, I think it's an amazing thing for people to be able to come here and do that and to level up in the dance, but also to create social ties that might last a lifetime, you know what I mean? So with that, there's a lot of responsibility, that comes with that. You guys know the impact that you're making and that you will make in the future. What are your plans for the future of the Flow Complex to either sustain, that type of value that you're bringing to the community as a whole, or to enhance, overall? Like, what do you guys have anything in mind?
Ideally, we would like to expand and start looking into like a bigger space. As you could tell right now, you'll probably see pictures or videos later. The place is like pretty packed right now. So definitely a bigger space, like to do our thing. In a different location would be awesome. But as far as like expanding here, like we would like to get like classes on the schedule, people teaching different shuffling classes, or right now we have a couple other people coming in as well, teaching, like doing like Zumba and like we want to get yoga in here and like hip hop and stuff like that,
therapies.
Like right now, like where we're at, like we have our space like listed. like on this app called Peerspace, and we get a couple bookings through there, like people renting it for different dance rehearsals or birthday parties, essentially anything, you know. Like she said, we used to throw art shows and open mics, different music type related events, and you know, just like keep the place busy, keep it going. Essentially a creative hub for all different types of artists, not just shuffling, but you know, music and like paint as well. You know, if you look at the walls, like there's like an intricate story being told in there. So to be able to have people experience that, like it like breaks them out of their shell, and yeah, it's a pretty special place. So.
Yeah, the complex is not just for shufflers. You know, as you're saying, like the evolution of it is probably bringing other communities in and seeing just like how that collab works out. You know what I mean? And you know, it benefit you guys as a business as well. You know, because you know, the shuffle community is only one source of potential income. You know what I mean? Just speaking from a business level. You know what I mean? Like money needs to be made to keep this place open and to be able to serve the community in that capacity. So I think it's very much something that being methodical about will pay dividends in the future and whatnot. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I would. Sorry, I got tongue tied. I would actually like to add too that we do also, or we have provided like women's circles. I don't know if you know what those are. So women's circles are events, or I would say, I don't know if it would be considered an event. Like, I guess like a class, or like it's where women gather and then they come and we do like either yoga or we meditate, we dance. So I've held shuffling classes also. I teach, or I've taught like Melbourne style and Malaysian, which is Mas for short. And it's only been specifically just women, so that way women can come here and feel comfortable and not intimidated also. So we have held classes and provided space like that as well.
That's amazing. And it's like, it's just one other thing, because like maybe that can be seen as not directly correlated to the shuffle community, but like if you're opening your doors to that avenue as well, and it's like you're known as shufflers, you know what I mean? This is the primary avenue for shufflers. Like it's very much painting the shuffle community in a positive light and giving us a little bit of a good PR. You know what I mean?
It's empowering as well, supportive.
Yeah, it gives us a good look. 100%. Well, that's awesome. It sounds like you guys have a very bright future for the Flow Complex. I know we have a busy night tonight, so I do want to let you guys go. However, is there anything else that you just want to impart on the audience that you have today about the Flow Complex, whether that be educating us or maybe, I don't know, a shout out or whatever else? Do you have any other thoughts?
Shout out to all the people that just come through and contribute. Even ShuffleCon was a spectacular night. The energy was just off the charts, like one for the books. Like, you know, there's so many ways that people have been describing it to me, and like it's like a movie. Like, you know, it's one of my favorite ones. Yeah, like just to be able to, like, you know, put yourself out there and you know, be received, and the amount of love and respect that people come through with, like, you know, it's definitely appreciated. And yeah, thank you also for you know, being able to like interview everyone and get a different perspective of, you know, what's going on. So usually we're all just hanging out, dancing, having a good time, but to be able to like document this, it's very special. So
it's really my pleasure, and thank you for being a part of it as well and speaking with me. You guys are awesome, seem very genuine, and you know, I would love to share your guys' story and just, you know, what the Flow Complex means to the Shuffle community. So it really is my pleasure. Thank you. Where can people reach you at or reach out to you if they want to connect? You know, maybe this conversation resonates with a lot of people, or they have questions for you, or they'd like to, you know, for you to elaborate on anything about Flow Complex.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Flow Complex, or you can find us on FTS Shufflers or FTS_Shufflers. My personal Instagram is Shawdrox. That's SHOJ Rocks.
Got it.
And for me, it's Hyacinth. I still have trouble spelling it out. It's HYA.
CINTH.
Thank you.
13.
Got it. Well, we'll have show notes to this, so I'll also link it and whatnot. Thank you guys so much for speaking to me. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and thank you for an amazing ShuffleCon and for hosting this event here at the Flow Complex. Thank you so much. Yeah. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening to the Shuffle Curious podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. We are past the launch, and I'm so appreciative of the support that the show has received. You guys have really stepped up in a huge way, and I'm eternally grateful for that. I know this is a big ask due to the show just starting, and it's very much in its infancy, but any and all support would really be amazing from you guys. So I just wanted to come on and list a couple ways that you guys can help out the podcast moving forward. So first and foremost, subscribing to the YouTube channel would be a huge help. Also sharing and following the show on other social media platforms, such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but in particular, YouTube will really help increase the visibility of the show, and it can help to reach a wider audience as well. In addition to this, leaving a review on anywhere where podcasts are distributed, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, can really leave a positive impression on new listeners, and it will help them discover the podcast more readily. Also, engaging with the podcast, so leaving comments, participating in social media discussions, and just anything that would really help build a community around the podcast would be of great assistance. And please feel free, DM me my personal Instagram at Patty Creates, or the show's Instagram at the Shuffle Curious Podcast, with the spaces being underscores. I would love to hear any feedback, any ideas, any discourse around the show. It would be an honor to hear you guys out and implement some of the ideas and the feedback that you guys have for me. Also, donating to the podcast directly or purchasing a Shuffle Curious shirt would help out a lot. There's a lot of time, there's a lot of energy, and unfortunately money that goes into the podcast, and it will continue to go into the podcast. So let's just get one thing straight here. It's really been a complete joy doing the show, and no matter how much or how little monetary assistance the show receives, we'll still be performing the mission of bringing the Shuffle community together. But with a little bit of help, I'll be able to travel more for these interviews, buy better equipment, be able to compensate all the amazing people who have made the show a reality and have volunteered their time, things of that nature. So buying a shirt would be much more than buying a shirt. And I don't know if you guys realize, but if I ever saw someone at a festival wearing a Shuffle Curious podcast shirt, you would be my best friend in a huge way. I'd love to see it, and I'd give you a big bear hug. So you can purchase these shirts on the Instagram bio of the show. Also the show's website, and then I'll have links in the show notes as well. As for the donation, just please, send me a DM if you feel inclined to donate to the show. I will definitely entertain that, and if you're so inclined, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm not going to create a button for donating to the show or GoFundMe or anything like that. It would just be a conversation between you and I. So, and I thank you for that consideration. But lastly, you guys have supported the show just by listening. Also listening to this whole outro, that's awesome. You guys rule for doing that. And I just cannot understate my appreciation for all of you guys, for being a part of this crazy ride that it's been so far. So without further ado, I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to get on, give you guys a couple of ways that you can support. You can run with as many or as little of them as you would like. But I thank you, regardless for your listenership and support. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Please get out there and dance, stay curious, and I will see you in the next episode, friend.